I'm just asking because my brothers who found out about Qira'at freak out. Some some not the same meaning, and there is three more Qira'ats that weren't canonized yet.
Remember the days we used to hear that Quran has been perfectly preserved, dot by dot, letter by letter, sound by sound, and word by word. Wherever in the world you go, it is exactly the same Quran. You remember those days? Those days are now in the past. Now we get to hear the justification of these different Arabic Qurans. While they are acknowledging, Muslims are acknowledging that there are different Arabic Qurans, now they share their justification with us. Questions are being asked. Are those different Arabic Qurans simply mistake? Farid, one of the Muslim Dawah gangs, tried to explain why these different Arabic Qurans are not mistake. Let's get our attention to what Farid says.
Ahmed Ahmed E. Muhammad says, why do we not critically think that Qira'at are just mistakes? Allah.
Well, may Allah step in and help you.
Ahmed E. Muhammad says, why do we not critically think that Qira'at are just mistakes?
Yes, why they don't just consider these different Arabic Qurans as mistakes. Some early Muslims, these giant minds of Islam, thought those Arabic Qurans were mistakes. Ibn Hanbal considered some of the Arabic Qurans as hateful. Tabari talks about how some of the different Arabic Qurans are stupid and confusing. Tabari, this giant mind of Islam, talks about how some Qurans are correct and better than others. Tabari again talks about some Qurans to be just wrong. Same, Ibn Mujahid calls some of the different Arabic Qurans wrong. Ibn Mujahid, who canonized 7 different Arabic Qurans, simply calls some of them wrong, and even he calls Hafs Quran wrong. The very Quran which is being recited by the majority of the Muslim world. So early Muslims had no problem of calling these Qurans as mistakes and wrongs, all that.
Samin says, because we have chains of it going back to the Prophet. طيب. That's one answer. It's all right.
Doesn't even make sense at all. Quranic scholar tells us, I don't think all is not from the canonical readers back to the Prophet make whole a lot of sense. Nor do I believe that a sound is not means that what is in the readings is 100% from the Prophet. We have precisely no Qiraat which was exactly how Muhammad said it. That's what the experts are telling us. If sake of the argument, if the chains are going back to Muhammad, just sake of the argument, how come when I open the earliest Quranic manuscripts, they don't have those chains? How come? Current Qurans have chains in it. Here's the problem. For example, Hafs Quran. Hafs Quran states that Muhammad passed the Quran to Ali, Ali passed the Quran to Uthman, Uthman passed the Quran to Abu Abdurrahman, Abu Abdurrahman passed the Quran to Asim, Asim passed the Quran to Hafs. But here's the problem. When we look at the Islamic tradition, what we get to see is Ali's Quran and Uthman's Quran were different from one another. They were simply different from one another. Again, when we look at the Islamic tradition, what we get to see, Abu Abdurrahman, he did not take the Quran from Uthman. He didn't. So, even those names in the current Quran's first few pages, those names are simply lies. Or another example, think about the Ibn Amir's Quran. Ibn Amir died in 736, so approximately 100 years after Muhammad. Between Muhammad and Ibn Amir, what we have? We have only 2 people, Uthman, and also we have Al-Mukhari, Abi Sihabab, Al-Mahzumi. So between Muhammad and Ibn Amir, there are only 2 people. There are only 2 people who claims to have that Quran. That's strange. That's very, very strange. You've got chains goes back to Muhammad with the names only, not with the people. As I said, scholars tells us no, they don't go back to Muhammad.
Prophet Muslim says because the meanings actually complement each other. That's one. That's another reason.
One of the reasons that Muslims cannot consider that different Arabic Qurans are mistake simply because meaning complementary to each other. According to who? Not according to Qurans by itself, not according to early Muslims who says this is correct, this is better than that one. That's not the case. For example, Surah 10 verse 16. One Quran says, would he would not have informed you, versus another Quran says, would he would have informed you. So in one of the Quran it is negative, in other Quran it is positive. So would Allah inform him, or Allah would not inform him? That's only one example. Surah 37 verse 12. Think about it. Allah marveled versus Muhammad marveled. Last time when I checked, there was difference between Allah and Muhammad. That's contradiction. Surah 11 verse 81. Did Lot left his wife behind or took his wife with him? Both of them can't be at the same time. Which one is correct? It's not a complementary, it is a contradiction. Surah 17 verse 102. Moses or Pharaoh? Who has the knowledge? Moses and Pharaoh are two different people. Surah 12 verse 90. Can it be Joseph, or you are really Joseph? Which one? They are contradictory. They do not complement one another. It's simply contradiction.
Muhammad says Quran is transmitted with tawatur. Yusuf Zahran says all Qira'at 10 we have confirmed today is actually all mutawatir to the Prophet Muhammad, and they are not contradictory, they are compatible.
Another reason that Muslims cannot call different Arabic Qurans as mistakes, because apparently Quran is mutawatir. According to whom? There is no evidence for that. There is no evidence. Readings are not transmitted through tawatur. Many Muslim scholars challenge the tawatur of the Quranic readings, for there is no proof to the claim of tawatur. There is no proof at all. I brought you Quranic scholar. Putin himself tells us none of the 10 are completely mutawatir. Even Hafs Quran is not mutawatir. So, different Arabic Qurans are not mutawatir. That's how it is.
Assassin says Rasulullah said Allah revealed the Quran in 7 ahruf. So that's what. So that's about it. When it comes to that, it's a good answer. That's actually one of the better answers.
Good answer. One of the reasons that different Arabic Qurans cannot be called mistakes, because Allah revealed 7 different ahruf. Then why don't you call these different Arabic Qurans ahruf instead of you call them Qira'at? Ibn Mujahid canonized 7 Qira'at, and then 3 more Quran has been canonized, 10 Qira'at, and then 4 more has been canonized, 14 Qira'at. So are you telling us, oh, Allah revealed in 7 ahruf, but as the time went on, it became 14 ahruf? And what are you gonna do? These 50 different Arabic Qurans that Ibn Mujahid did not canonize. Are you telling me Allah revealed in 7 ahruf while Muhammad is in hell and being beaten and punished by angels? Allah's revelation is coming to the certain people, and then they are putting different Arabic Qurans together under the 10 Qira'at, or according to your ahruf, or 14 Qira'at, or according to your 14 ahruf. Can you even hear what you are saying? And he labels that as one of the better answers. Wow.
This is interesting. Check out what Adam says. The concept of Qira'at didn't develop gradually. It was there from the start, and everyone acknowledged it. It's a good answer. That's a good answer. I like that.
Then why did Muhammad forget to mention it? Why don't we get to hear about the Qira'at from the time of Muhammad? Why don't we have a hadith talking about 14 different Qira'at? Why don't we have it? Why don't we have hadith talking about 7 different qiraat? Hadith talking about 10 different qiraat? Why don't we have them? Muhammad forgot to mention it. The only reason Muslims have different Arabic Qurans, because Uthmanic Razm was defective, therefore it caused different Arabic Qurans. That's how it is. Concept of the Qiraat was not there from the beginning. If it was there from the beginning, you would expect Muhammad to talk about it, but Muhammad doesn't talk about it. It's not only that, today's scholars are telling us we have precisely no Qiraat which was exactly how Muhammad said it. How can you tell me today that, oh, Qiraat all from the beginning? Just doesn't make sense. There are holes in the narrative.
Mahmoud says, all the qira'ats I read are all the same in meanings. Well, yeah, Mahmoud, I gotta disagree, bro. I gotta disagree.
Well, thank you very much for confirming that different Arabic Qurans has different meaning. See, steps are being taken. Few years ago, dot by dot, word by word, sound by sound, letter by letter was exactly the same. Now, oh, they have different meaning. Thank you.
Bin Khadim says, because they're not mistakes. Best answer, Bin Khadim says.
Tabari, Ibn Mujahid, Ibn Hanbal, all disagrees with you.
Muhammad Dolan says, how could there be mistakes in short Surah Al-Fatiha when 5-year-old kids remember it without mistakes?
So one of the reasons that different Arabic Qurans are not mistake, because 5-year-old child can remember Surah Fatiha without mistakes. Well, thanks to the current Hafs Quran, thanks to all the forces that children get in the mosques, all the torture children get in the mosque to memorize those verses. 5-year-old child memorizes Surah Fatiha in Morocco. That's one of the surah recited 17 times a day by Muslims. It's all good. Every Moroccan people are happy with that. When this 5-year-old child travels to Saudi Arabia and recites the Surah 1, that Surah 1 is different what the Saudi Muslims are reciting. That is the problem. And Saudi says, don't bring your Surah 1 to Saudi Arabia, to the Moroccans. You've got early Muslims, Ibn Masud didn't have Surah 1 in his Quran. So today's child in Morocco recites Surah 1 that is different than the Surah in Surah 1 that has been recited in Saudi Arabia. But those two people's Surah 1 did not contain in the Quran of Ibn Masud. So today's children are reciting something very companion of Muhammad did not recite it.
Ahmed E. Muhammad says, Shabab, I'm just asking because my brothers who found out about Qira'at freak out. Some not the same meaning, and there is 3 more Qira'ats that weren't canonized yet.
Oh, well, it's not only when people find out that Quran has been changed, there are different Arabic Qurans, they freaked out. No, that's not the case. Muslims walked out of Islam. Thanks to you, thanks to Muhammad Hijab, part-time stripper, as well as thanks to Yasir Qadi. You brought into attention of Muslims so that they didn't just stay freaked out when they notice, oh, they are different. Meaning is different. They are written differently. Oh, it's not sound by sound, word by word is the same. What did they do? They walked out of Islam. Yup. Freaking out is nothing there. Good that he thinks this is funny he's reading it with the smiling face. It is funny when Muslims walk out of Islam. Yes, it is funny.
The natural assumption when you have variants attributed to a specific text is that it's a mistake. So when you find centuries of scholarship all agreeing that there are multiple recitations to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or that there are multiple ways of reading the same book, then this shows that this is the Orthodox position.
Thank you very much for confirming that there are variations within these Qurans. That's very helpful. And here's the problem. Because Muslims talk about it, that doesn't make it okay. You don't have anyone who tells us Hafs read his Quran or Asim read his Quran to Muhammad. Muhammad never put his stamp on Asim's Quran or Hafs' Quran. Muhammad never said yes to Ibn Amir's Quran. Muhammad never even saw Warsh Quran. Muslim scholars are talking about, yeah, Allah revealed Quran in 7 different ahruf. But that's not the Qiraat. It doesn't say Qiraat, it says ahruf. Early scholars had no problem to declare readers or transmitters to be in error. They had no problem. They talked about it. While later scholars apparently defended it passionately to the fault. That's what Muslims are doing today now. They know there are mistakes. They know these Qurans contain mistakes, but they cannot talk about it. They have to justify. Why? Because they cannot have doubt. They cannot cause doubt. They will be identified as kafir. Therefore, they will passionately defend it to the fault.
When everyone is saying, no, the Quran is actually revealed in multiple modes, then this makes sense. Then this has to be the Orthodox position.
Yes, people are talking about Quran has been revealed in multiple modes. That's ahruf. That's not different Arabic Qurans. That's not. Ahruf and Qiraat cannot be the same. Why it is 7 ahruf versus we've got 14 Qiraat? Why it is not 14 ahruf? Whatever that ahruf was, you know better than me that Uthman murdered it. Uthman got rid of it, put it in one way. Today, as I said, we've got different Arabic Qurans simply because Uthmanism was defective. Therefore, different Arabic Qurans enter the world.
The second piece of evidence is that much of the variants are dialects. When you have multiple dialects, you don't assume that these are mistakes.
Yeah, much of them are dialects. But there are contradictions in them. The ones you are not mentioning has problem. Why can't you just call them mistakes? You don't want to be identified as kafir? Well, when you have contradictions within these Qurans, one of them has to be true, other one has to be false. That's very basic. If something is contradicting one another, both of them can be false, or one of them has to be true, other one has to be false. That's what you've got to choose.
Qira'at were not developed gradually. They were there from the start and were acknowledged. That's it. If they were not there from the start, if this was a view that was introduced later on, you'd have these two views. But you only have one view. Which is the Quran is revealed in multiple modes.
Yes, they were not there from the start. Yeah, you've got many views. You've got 40 different views regarding what ahruf is. 40! And then it finishes as, we don't know what it is, Allah knows best. It doesn't talk about Qiraat, that is talking about ahruf.
Why is Sa'id bin Jubair reciting 2 recitations? In Ramadan, in one night, he recites the recitation of Zayd bin Thabit / Uthman bin Affan. And the other night, he's reciting the recitation of Ibn Mas'ud. Why is he reciting 2 recitations if there's only one recitation?
Yeah, and Ibn Mas'ud's Quran was different from the Zayd bin Thabit's Quran. So why don't we have Ibn Mas'ud's Quran then? Oh, I forgot, you broke his hips because he was simply disagreeing with Zayd bin Thabit's Quran.
The hadith of Rasulullah that says that the Quran was revealed in 7 modes. Okay?
Yeah, you've got it. So Quran revealed in 7 mode, 7 ahruf, not 7 Qiraat. Today, there are canonized 14 Qiraats, and people are holding 37 different Arabic Qurans in their possession. So, Muslims are passionately trying to defend different Arabic Qurans to the fold. Yeah, when we put ourselves in their shoes, no one wants to be called as kafir, because the moment they even have a doubt in one letter of the Quran, they will be identified as kafir. And you know, when someone is identified as kafir, whole world comes after you. That's the last thing you want to be identified. Truth does not matter for you. Labels are important. In this occasion, probably your safety is important. Therefore, ignore the truth. So, here what we end up. Early Muslims did have no problem calling different Arabic Qurans mistakes, wrong, better than other one, all that. That was absolutely fine. But today's Muslims do not want to do that because that will identify them as kafir. They cannot have any doubt even in the letter of the Quran. Then, simple question, since there are 37 different Arabic Qurans, which Quran is in the eternal tablets? Which version did Allah revealed? Which version? Which version of this Quran is going to intercede for Muslims? There are contradictions in these Arabic Qurans. Muslims know it. Well, as the time goes on, as I said, they are taking baby steps now. As the time goes on, probably they will learn to justify those kind of things. But so far, it's helpful for us to remember our Muslim friends and pray for them, because so that when they hear about these different Arabic Qurans, they don't only freak out and stuck in Islam and then shut their brain, but they start questioning, and then they should notice that as they start questioning, they've been lied all of their life. Not only different Arabic Qurans, but everything about Muhammad and everything about Islam, so that they have a chance to walk out of Islam. They have a chance to make a decision to stay in Islam or walk out of Islam. Don't let them to freak out and get paralyzed. Let's help them think through these issues, these problems, these mistakes, and then help them to walk out of Islam as we step in and then preach glorious gospel of Jesus Christ, so that we help them to hear the gospel, that they can make a decision, informed decision, to turn to Lord Jesus Christ. So far, well, it's all messed up. There are holes in the narrative of Farid, and there are problems, of course, coming with these holes.